So you want to know the hottest neighborhoods to live in Fort Lauderdale? Well, this video is going to be all about the 5 trendiest up-and-coming neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale, so stay tuned. What's up everyone, it's Tanner, back again with another video all about sunny South Florida. Well, actually right now it's not so sunny outside, but we're not here to talk about the weather. We're talking about 5 neighborhoods you need to know about if you're thinking about moving to Fort Lauderdale. I understand that moving to a new city can be challenging and feel super overwhelming, and a big part of that challenge is looking for a place to live. So we're not only going to talk about what these areas are like, but we're also going to talk about home prices, cost of rent, and also the schools. And hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about working, eating, sleeping, playing, and living right here in Fort Lauderdale, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the little bell so you get notified every time I do a new video. Alright, so let's get into these up-and-coming neighborhoods here in Fort Lauderdale. Now, these 5 neighborhoods are not to be confused with the best, most expensive neighborhoods in the city. These are areas that have either been neglected in the past and are now being cleaned up and revitalized, or newer areas that are just now being discovered. And this list is in no particular order, so if you want to know what the hot neighborhoods are right now, make sure you stay for all 5 of them. So number 1 on our list is the historic Sailboat Bend neighborhood, which was originally designed to be one of the first working class neighborhoods, and it's actually the only neighborhood in the city of Fort Lauderdale to be designated as a historic district. But just a few decades ago, this neighborhood was full of crime and drugs, so no one was really moving there. But the times have seriously changed. It's located just west of downtown Fort Lauderdale, and it's now a neighborhood that people are flocking to. And this area is very diverse, consisting of a good mix of young professionals, families, and longtime residents who have lived there since before it was cool. And the location of Sailboat Bend can't really be beat. It's close to the Broward Center of Performing Arts, tons of shopping, food options, Las Olas Boulevard, you're right next to downtown Fort Lauderdale, and you're just minutes from the airport. So what you're going to find here is a mix of beautifully restored homes from the 1920s and 30s, and others right along the riverfront. There's new luxury townhomes and small bungalow-style houses as well. And the average house price here in Sailboat Bend is going to be about $339,000, and the average rent is $1,400 per month, with prices steadily rising as the area gains more popularity. And if you're moving partly based on schools in the area, there are a few highly rated schools within a couple miles of the neighborhood. Virginia Schumann Young Elementary, Harbordale, and Fort Lauderdale High School, which are all rated 7 and 8 out of 10. For number 2, we're going to head immediately east from Sailboat Bend to downtown Fort Lauderdale. And this area is one that I get the most questions about when people call and they reach out about moving down here to Fort Lauderdale. And I'm getting calls every single day from people all over the US and even from other countries. And I absolutely love talking to you guys. So if you're thinking about moving or relocating here, make sure you reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you and help answer any questions that you have. Now, this may come as a surprise, but Fort Lauderdale does have a relatively small downtown, and it's been overlooked for quite some time. But recently things have been changing, and a lot of people seem to have been craving the convenience of living near attractions, restaurants, and shopping, and developers are going full throttle into creating new places to live downtown. You'll find everything from small farmers markets to towering buildings filled with night spots, restaurants, and shops, along with offices and tourist attractions, and all of which provide a sense of variety and diversity, which is part of the appeal to any downtown living experience. So as you can probably guess, there's no shortage of things to do when you live downtown, and Fort Lauderdale's no exception. If you're a fan of the ocean, one of the many beautiful beaches is always going to be close by, and if you have kids, they're going to love the Museum of Discovery and Science, where they have tons of interactive exhibits from 3D IMAX theaters to flight and airboat simulators, along with some up-close encounters of Fort Lauderdale wildlife like otters, alligators, stingrays, and sharks. The majority of homes in the downtown area consist of high-rise condos and townhomes averaging around $405,000, and for apartments you can expect to pay around $1,700 a month. There are several schools in the downtown area, but depending on which part, some will be closer than others. So Virginia Schumann Young Elementary, Bethany Christian School, and Harbordale are going to be some of the closest. For number 3, we're going to head about 1.5 miles north of downtown to the neighborhood of South Middle River. Now, South Middle River has had a lot of problems with crime in the past, and it still struggles a bit at times, but according to the Sun-Sentinel, which is our main daily newspaper here in Fort Lauderdale and the surrounding areas, the area is getting an influx of new residents, and they're intent on changing that. And I'd have to agree, it's one of the last up-and-coming neighborhoods near downtown that's still extremely affordable, but it does come at a trade-off because yes, the neighborhood is starting to see a turn for the better, but it's not all the way there yet. However, it is just blocks away from Northeast 13th Street, which features boutiques and art galleries, along with one of my favorite coffee shops, Warsaw Coffee Company. And there's also one of my favorite places to grab a beer, Gulfstream Brewing. So if you're willing to get active in your community and get into the neighborhood early, South Middle River might be perfect for you, but you're gonna have to hurry because people have started to figure it out and home prices are rising pretty quickly. The average sale price for homes in this area has gone from around $280,000 up into the low to mid $300,000 range, and your average rent is gonna be from about $1,700 to $1,800 a month. There are a number of schools within walking distance or even just a short drive away, including Thurgood Marshall Elementary, Fort Lauderdale Community School, and Northside Elementary. All right, number 4 is Poinciana Heights, about a mile directly east of South Middle River, and it sits right along US 1. It's a mix of older homes and some new construction, and because of this, it's gaining popularity among buyers and investors. You're going to find this neighborhood to be diverse and an active place to live with well-maintained homes and friendly, tight-knit neighbors. There are plenty of restaurants and coffee shops around, along with local attractions, museums, libraries, and easy access to public transit. And it's close to the beach, which is always a bonus. So like I mentioned earlier, Poinciana Heights is a mixture of older homes and newer ones, and there's also a few waterfront properties, making the home prices fluctuate a little more than some other neighborhoods in the city, but on average, the selling price for a home is in the mid to high $300,000 range, and the average rent is between $1,500 and $2,000 per month. So we've made it to number 5, and it's hard to believe that about 20 years ago, this neighborhood was a rundown warehouse and residential district. But today, Flagler Village is definitely one of the trendiest areas here in Fort Lauderdale. And artists have been painting murals on the sides of structures and buildings, giving Flagler Village its own funky personality, and the collaboration between the artists and the developers has absolutely transformed this neighborhood into an amazing arts district that offers luxury rental apartments, condos, and townhomes, along with a bunch of restaurants, bars, boutiques, and gives it a ton of culture. Flagler Village also has little pockets with parks and urban gardens throughout the neighborhood, and the Brightline train station is located right here in the area. And that's a new fast train, and when it's completed, will travel from Miami to West Palm Beach and all the way to Orlando, which is gonna make it a super big hub for tourists, travelers, and locals alike. As for schools, the Little Schoolhouse is a preschool nearby the neighborhood. The South Florida Montessori Academy, Gospel Arena Christian School, and the Northside Elementary are also close by. So if you're thinking about moving or relocating here to Fort Lauderdale or anywhere in South Florida, make sure you reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you and help you any way that I can. Make sure you check out some of these other videos, and remember, I've got your back when moving to Fort Lauderdale.